I welcome you, dear students, to your English class. Today you will learn how one can achieve success against all odds with courage, determination, and draw tremendous inspiration from Steve Jobs in the lesson Connecting the Dots. Before I commence with the lesson, let's take a look at 4 of our entrepreneurs whom India boasts of, who all belonged to very simple families but struggled against all odds to look like an overnight success. Their stories have been an inspiration for many to chase their dreams and realize it. Arguably, the most famous rags to riches story in India is of Dhirubhai Ambani, who used to sell fried snacks in his village to make ends meet. This person, who was a bhajia vendor, later became the founder of Reliance Industries. Currently, his son Mukesh Ambani is the 6th richest person in the world. Moving on to the next person, that is Bhavesh Bhatia. From a street vendor to a multi-crore company, Bhavesh was not born blind, but had little vision. At 23, he became completely blind. Today, he is a visually challenged entrepreneur and founder of Sunrise Candles. Bhavesh has been participating in Paralympic category of games and has won 117 medals. His annual turnover is about 20 crores. The third is a woman entrepreneur of the year 2017. She is Patricia Narayan, who went from earning 50 paise a day to owning a chain of restaurants in Chennai. She was disowned by her parents and husband. With 2 little children, she then started making jams, squashes, and pickles at home and selling them. Presently, she has 14 outlets in Chennai and her daily earnings is rupees 2 lakhs. And finally, we have Sudha Murthy. Most of you may know her as the wife of Narayan Murthy, the founder of Infosys, a multinational corporation. She is an iconic woman and a philanthropist. A philanthropist is a person who donates money, experience, skills, and talents. Mrs. Murthy became the first woman engineer to work in Tata Motors. Being an author, she has written many books. What is commendable about her is she gave her savings of rupees 10,000 to her husband to start the business, which today has 239,000 employees. She is also conferred with a Padma Shri Award and a doctorate degree from the government. So children, what is the secret of the success of these people? Or what lessons can we take from their lives? Well, we should always speak up our mind to choose the passions for a balanced life by not giving up in trials and tribulations. Above all, we must be true to ourselves and humane in dealing with others. We shall now start off with the lesson, Connecting the Dots. Connecting the dots means the ability to associate one idea with another. In other words, it means understanding yourself. Steve Jobs was an American entrepreneur, a business magnate, inventor, and an industrial designer. An entrepreneur means a person who sets up a business. He was the chairman, chief executive officer, and co founder of Apple Inc. He is widely recognized as one of the pioneers of the microcomputer revolution of the 1970s and 80s. Pioneer means first to explore. This is a part of a commencement speech given by Steve Jobs to graduate students of Stanford University in 2005. In this speech, he talks about his college experiences, about getting fired from Apple, his love, and his brush with death. Children, I shall read the lesson and explain to you paragraph wise. So kindly pay careful attention. So here we begin. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. Just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months before I really quit. Looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked interesting. Children, we shall focus on 3 parts in this lesson. These 3 parts are the 3 stories from Steve Jobs' life. Here we learn that Steve Jobs was admitted to Reed College, a famous college in Oregon, Portland, which is in USA. After 6 months of college studies, Steve felt that he could not continue further. He dropped out from the college, and the next 18 months he spent as drop-in and drop-out. Now what does that mean? That means he would stop taking the classes that did not interest him and attended only those classes that looked interesting. So here, dropped out means left and dropped in means a visitor. I shall now go to the next para. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5 cents to buy food with, and I would walk 7 miles across town every Sunday to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it, and much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be a priceless later. Here it means when Steve dropped out of college, he used to sleep on the floor of his friend's house as he did not have a dormitory. Now a dormitory means a large bedroom in a school or a university for students. He used to return Coke bottles and get 5 cents to buy food. A cent is a coin worth 1/100th of the US dollar. And children, every Sunday night he would walk 7 miles across the town to the Hare Krishna temple to get one good meal a week. These were the struggles he went through. But Steve had a natural curiosity and an intuition which helped him in the future. Intuition means the power of understanding people's feelings beforehand. Here's one example. Reed College offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Because I had to take a calligraphy class, I learnt about serif and sans serif typefaces, about what makes great typography great. In Reed College, children, there were classes going on for calligraphy. Now, what is calligraphy? Calligraphy is beautiful handwriting with a special pen or brush. He found this calligraphy class very interesting because he understood it. And this basic course helped him in designing the Mac computer. Children, he also learned about serif and sans serif typefaces. Now, what is serif? Serif is a small line attached to the end of a stroke in a letter, while a typeface without serif is called sans serif. Typeface is a particular design or type, and typography is printed matter. Moving ahead, 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me, and we designed it all into the Mac. If I had never dropped in on that course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces, or for that matter, even proportionally spaced fonts. Here Steve Jobs tells us, 10 years later, when he was designing the first Macintosh computer, he recalled what he had learned in the calligraphy classes about sans serif typefaces and other elements that go into great typography. He designed all this into the Macintosh computer. We come to the next paragraph. And since Windows just copied Mac, it's likely no personal computer would have them. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Later, Windows copied this concept of Mac, and today we see the fonts sans serif are there because when Steve Jobs made his first personal computer, he had inculcated those fonts due to the calligraphy he learnt. Now children, look at the next para. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in some things, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Children, here Steve Jobs tells us that he noticed that we cannot connect the dots of our life looking forward, but we can connect the dots looking at the past episodes, and then we can connect the future. And for this, we should rely on our gut feeling. Now, gut means courage and determination. We should also depend on our heart, mind, and soul, our likes, dislikes, and follow our instinct. And only then we can achieve success.
Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path, and that will make all the difference.
We shall now continue. My second story is about love and loss. I found what I loved to do early in life was Steve Wozniak and I started Apple when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a 2 billion company. And then I got fired. It was devastating. Here, Steve tells us that the second story of his life is about love and loss. It also conveys to us that even if our efforts results are complete disaster, we should continue to believe in ourselves. Now, Steve loved designing computer software and hardware, and that was the Apple computer. Now, along with his friend, whose name was Steve Wozniak, together they started a company which was known as Apple. But after starting this company, only after 10 years, they were fired. And here fired means he lost the job. And this was greatly devastating. Devastating means something which caused a great setback or a great destruction in one's life. Children, now let's move to the next para. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. And so, I decided to start over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. Here, Steve Jobs tells us that at the age of 30, after the shock of being fired from Apple, he felt the lightness of being a beginner again. He felt free to enter one of the most creative periods of his life. Children, don't you all feel we can draw inspiration from Steve Jobs' life? Yes. We should also never be disheartened by failure, but always keep on trying, even if we lose everything. We have to come to terms with it and have the courage to start all over again. Began to dawn on me means began to become clear. Now we go to the next para. During the next 5 years, I started a company next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio. Apple bought Next. I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lorraine and I have a wonderful family together. So now let's look at the explanation. Steve Jobs tells us that the next 5 years proved to be the most creative period of his life. In 5 years, Steve started a company named Next. Then he started another company named Pixar, which became the world's most successful animation studio. And then, children, Apple bought the company Next, and Steve once again returned to Apple. Now this was the renaissance of the company Apple. Now what is renaissance? Renaissance means revival. And children, during this time, Steve fell in love with a beautiful and an amazing lady whose name was Lorraine, and he married her in the year 1991. And then Steve and Lorraine had a wonderful family together. Now let's look at the next para. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle.
Children, I feel this is a very important paragraph in the whole lesson, and it gives us a beautiful message. So let's listen to the explanation. Jobs' famous quote, "Sometimes life hits you in the head," means give a great shock suddenly. But we must not lose hope. It also means life gives us a wake-up call. It is that abrupt realization that something has to change, whether we like it or not. Sometimes it may be materialistic, like losing a job, emotional, like losing a relationship, or physical, with a health scare. Whatever form it takes, it's the universe telling us it's time. Time to make a change and re-examine our priorities. It may be tough, but Steve says, don't lose hope, don't lose faith. There is a grander plan out there than any of us know. And in this way, you can get to the path to your plan.
I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I just turned 30. And then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did.
We are going to make it or break it based on whether we can provide products to higher education and services and relationships to higher education that no one else provides. And I think we ought to spend 100% of our time thinking about that. And if we can't do that, then we ought to go broke.
and so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. So keep looking, don't settle.
Children, we now continue. My third story is about death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order, which is doctor's code for prepare to die. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later, that evening I had a biopsy. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery and I am fine now. Children, now to the explanation. It is about the third story of Job's life. He says that about a year ago, he was diagnosed with a very rare form of pancreatic cancer. The doctor advised him to organize all things related to his personal life, his financial situation, so that there would be no difficulties after his death. He had a biopsy done. Biopsy means a process of removing a tissue from a sick person for examination. Since the cancer was curable by surgery, Jobs had the surgery and he was cured. Now come to the next paragraph. This was the closest I have been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's dream. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Children, here we come to know, in 2004, Steve Jobs was diagnosed with cancer and operated upon. In 2005, he gave this speech, and these are the conclusions that he discovered: that he was suffering from pancreatic cancer, and coming face to face with death, he realized how little time we have on earth to discover our true talent, our ability and power. Actually, most of our lives are spent following the dictates of others. By this statement, Steve Jobs means that we should spend every moment of our lives trying to discover our own potential and determine our own purpose and path in life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Here Steve Jobs cautions us against dogmas. Dogma means living with the opinion of other people's thinking. Thus, we should not let the overpowering influence of others drown our own inner voice. Remember, it's our life and we live only once. The meaning of drown out is be louder than others. Children, we now continue. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalogue. In the final issue, on the back cover, they put a photograph of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. I've always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Your children, in the final paragraph, Steve Jobs closes his address to the graduate students by telling them about an amazing publication called The Whole Earth Catalogue, which was an American magazine which focused on the review of products available in the market. In the final issue, on the back cover, were the inspirational words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Stay hungry means one should always keep looking out for something new and have the willingness to acquire more and more knowledge. That is, we must constantly strive to do better. If we continue to stay hungry, we will work on bringing out the best in ourselves to our utmost capacity. Whereas, stay foolish means we must keep on learning. One must not consider oneself as a master of all, but keep an open mind to get new ideas. In other words, stay hungry, stay foolish means you live only once, so make it count and go after what you want. Before I conclude this lesson, students, I would like to say, we all owe a sense of gratitude to Steve Jobs, who saw the future and led the world to it. He moved technology from garages to pockets. Currently, the COVID-19 has impacted the world in a way no one could have anticipated. Being in a state of lockdown for over 6 months, and schools and colleges yet do not have physical access to classrooms. But the educational institutions have continued to impart education to their students thanks to online education curriculum and virtual classrooms. And all this could be contributed only through technology by means of computers, laptops, mobile phones, for which Steve Jobs contributed immensely. Thank you, dear all students, for your participation. And you have a short homework to do. Open your books to page number 65 and do the exercise number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5.
Thank you and God bless.